Well, it's almost time for another AliExpress sale, and that means I need to look at my wish list. On my wish list are a bunch of watches that really interest me and then might actually buy for myself. And today's video is me sharing those watches with you. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. And today, I'm talking about the watches that have stayed on my AliExpress wish list. Often when I'm looking through AliExpress, I'll see a watch that looks pretty cool, and I put it on my wish list. But then as time goes past, I then look at my wish list, and I sort of reduce it down to the watches that I really want. And today, I want to share those watches with you today. The watches that I'm likely to actually buy for myself. Now, as always with these videos, I actually haven't had any hands-on experience with them. They're on my wish list that I want to buy, but I haven't actually experienced them, so I can't recommend them to you, but I can sort of show you going, hey, these are watches that interest me, maybe they'll interest you too. And if they do interest you and you end up buying them, well, of course, wait for the sale, see if you can save some money, but I'll leave some affiliate links down below. And guys, while you're there, have you subscribed to my channel? Because I really appreciate if you just tap on that subscribe button. It makes such a big difference to me and the channel. But I want to show you now the watches that are on my wish list that I'm seriously considering buying in this AliExpress sale. Now, the first watch I'm going to show you is something that's really cool, something that I'm pretty much going to buy. I can almost guarantee I'm going to buy this one, but there's a little bit of a warning I want to attach to this one, because the store that this watch is on, it's fairly small and there's not many followers to the store. Normally, if I'm buying watches from AliExpress, I want to go for a store that has lots of followers, lots of reviews, lots of watches, so I can feel very confident buying from them. This one doesn't have that many followers. There are some reviews of this watch on this listing, so it should be okay. I hope it's okay, but please keep that in mind if you decide to buy this one. And this one is a Homage watch. It's a Homage digital watch, which I haven't bought a Homage digital watch before, but this is homaging a watch that I actually really like. But the original watch is so expensive for what it is, there's no way I'm going to buy it. But this one at 55 Australian dollars, that's perfectly acceptable for me. That is the right price for a really cool looking watch. So there are a few options for this one. There's a black case, a gold case. There's a sort of few different dial options. But this one, this is definitely the one that interests me. It's silver with those sort of Star Wars themes on there. Now, it does come on a metal bracelet, stainless steel. I can only imagine how many hairs it's going to pull off my wrist because it's one of those type of watches, but still it does interest me. It's the CK0006. I'm not even sure what the brand name is of this one, but it looks cool, so I want to show it and share it with you guys. It is a small sort of size, but being a square, just keep that in mind. So it's 33mm case diameter, has 30 meters of water resistance. And honestly, I think at this sort of price for this watch, it would normally probably feel a little bit expensive to me. But because I know the watch that is homaging costs so much more than this, well, maybe it's actually priced reasonably well. Next one I'm going to share with you has no issues in regards to the store, and it's a watch that I am definitely going to buy because it really interests me, this one. This is the Merkur Skin Diver, 200 Australian dollars, and for 200 Australian dollars, you're getting a 38mm case diameter, 13mm thick, 100 meters of water resistance. It has an internal rotating bezel, which I think looks super cool. There's two dial variations. There's one which is a little bit funky, and then there's this one which I'm showing you, and I'm going to look at buying this one because I prefer that dial variation. It comes on a sort of canvas strap, which I think looks perfectly fine, and as always with these sort of watches, I'm more than happy to swap it out for something better if it is pretty bad when it does arrive. I really like the minute hand, the big sword hour minute hand, weird sort of arrow hour hand, which I think is actually quite funky. Has a date window as well. I just really like the look of this one. And yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be buying this one in the sale. Next one really is something that I'm likely to buy as well because it really interests me. Now, this one's actually been around for a little while and I've kept my eye on it for a little while, but recently I've just kept being drawn back to it. This one is the Ipose 5303. It's 400 Australian dollars, but for 400 Australian dollars, you get a really cool looking watch, and there's quite a few dial variations for this one. For some reason, I'm really drawn to this sort of white and black, but there's also a white and blue, a black and blue, black on black, and then there's a funky sort of yellow one that looks actually quite a bit different to the one that I'm showing you here. Has a 40mm case diameter, 20mm lugs, 200 meters worth of water resistance, has the date at the 6 o'clock, which makes all the difference. It just looks so much better. Contains the PT5000, and for $400 it has the PT5000, but you can get it with the Sellita SW200 for a little bit more money, but realistically I'd be looking at the PT5000. It has a really cool integrated mesh style bracelet, which I think actually really adds to this watch, and I really like how the bezel is. That sort of two or split up sort of bezel there reminds me a lot of my Christopher Ward C60. Now the next is a San Martin that I've seen being sold on another website. I haven't seen it on AliExpress before, and it's one that really grabbed my attention because I think it looks absolutely fantastic. This one here is the SN0121-G. It is 380 Australian dollars. It is now obviously on AliExpress, which is why I'm getting a little bit more excited, because now I can access it and hopefully access it through the sales. I think it's probably one of the best looking San Martins I've ever seen. It comes in black as well as blue. That blue really stands out to me, however, but it also has a date version and a non-date version. It's powered by the NH35. It is a 39mm case diameter, 300 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, 152 grams, and a lug-to-lug of 47mm. I really do think this looks fantastic. And if you look at that internal bezel, where it sort of slopes down towards the dial, I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously, this is heavily homaging a particular watch, but I think at this sort of price, with these sort of looks, I think it's a really nice watch. Now, when I saw this next one, it really grabbed my attention because I love the dial. This is actually an AddiesDive. It is the AD2030. It's only 110 Australian dollars, but there's a couple of things about it. Firstly, it's a quartz watch, and secondly, it's a 36mm case diameter watch, which is a little bit too small for me, unfortunately. But the look of this dial, it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm calling it the sand dune. I think it looks wonderful. So yeah, case diameter 36mm, 46 lug-to-lug, 100 meters of water resistance, 108 grams. So for a smaller watch, quartz watch, it actually has a bit of wrist presence, so there must be a bit of steel in there, and it's powered by the Seiko VH31 quartz. Honestly, I like the look of this watch so much, I'm almost tempted just to buy it because it looks so good. But I know the size, and being quartz, maybe I won't really wear it enough, but I'm seriously tempted because it looks fantastic. And lastly is a new release, or a relatively recent release from Pagani Design, and it's another quartz watch, but I think it looks particularly good. This one here is the PD1708, sort of Pilot Chrono. Yeah, I like Pilot watches, but I just think this looks particularly good. And being sold at 120 Australian dollars, that's a good price for a watch that looks like this, that is powered by the VK64 Seiko movement. It's a 38mm case diameter as well, 12mm thick. Has that mesh bracelet, which I think suits this watch really, really well. Sapphire crystal. Now, this one here is the black dial with the white markers, which I personally prefer, but there's also sort of a patinaed version, so a black dial with a patinaed yellow variation on it. And I think at that sort of price, I think it's quite a cool watch. Now, guys, what did you think of my list? Is there any on there that you're particularly wanting to buy? That sand dune looks particularly good. I keep coming back to it, and I know it's probably going to be a little bit small for me, but that dial just grabs me every time. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, maybe check these ones out next.